Trump's newest victims are a group of Americans that we actually need to survive in this country. The American truck driver. The sad thing is 90% of these truck drivers voted for Trump in the 2024 election. And it doesn't stop there. The whole shipping industry is under attack by Trump. They are collapsing right now, guys, and no one is talking about it. Since April 1st, imports from China have dropped 36%. Ports like Los Angeles are reporting a 35% plunge in cargo. At least 80 cargo ships have gone, canceled, diverted, or are empty. Inside the United States, freight volumes have crashed 14.9% compared to last year. Thousands of truck drivers are now losing loads and losing jobs. Volvo just announced layoffs. 800 American workers are being cut. Independent truckers, the people we keep America running with, are barely surviving. Here's the hardest part. The truck drivers were some of Donald Trump's strongest supporters. 90%, guys, 90% of them voted for Trump. And look how he's treating them. This is insane. I don't understand. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about an American economic collapse happening right before our eyes. And who's paying the price? Truckers, dock workers, small businesses, all of our families. If you want the truth, follow me on Instagram and Substack. The real news every day, all truth, no BS. This is real. This is legit.
Trucking has completely went flat bottom, man. I can honestly tell you these past 3 weeks, this is including the third week that I'm in right now, you get a few runs here and there. I'm in Chicago, right? And it's getting bad. You know, I don't know, what do you tell your drivers, right? You just give them the whole concept of be patient. Obviously, watching the news. I'm not only a truck driver. I own trucks. I got drivers, man, you know? I don't know what else to say or do. Obviously, Trump is doing what he needs to do, right? On paper, it looks good. It looks right. But we're going to have to try to weather the tide, you know what I'm saying? But, man, I mean, it's getting bad, right? And I know a lot of people in other businesses that are complaining too, right? Everybody's watching the news, waiting for this whole situation to die down with this whole tariff thing back and forth. And I don't see no end in sight. I know some of my guys that are owner-operators, a lot of them gave up not having a plan in place after they quit. And they just saying, hey, I'm going to wing it. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But, man, me personally, my advice, anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a truck driver or not. Whatever you're doing for a living and you don't want to do that no more, find you another source of income before you quit. Never quit until you have another option, right? You're going to quit and just sit there and wait. What are you going to do? My advice, man, do not quit something until you have something in line, ready to go.
So not only are the last cargo ships arriving to the United States this week that will be carrying cargo that will not be tariffed, because after this, every cargo ship that arrives in the United States will be hit with 145% tariff. Truck drivers across the United States are quitting in mass. Yes, the truck drivers that are legal citizenships who also have legal driver's licenses are quitting in mass and selling their trucks. So not only are we going to be facing a crisis of items coming into the United States, we're also going to be facing a crisis of items being able to be delivered to businesses.
90% of the truck drivers voted for Trump. Now they go to the ports and the piers and look for a load to carry, and they find out that half the ships are empty and the other half are being diverted by China to other places. The only thing you'll be hauling is Trump for the White House back to Mar-a-Lago.
Man, it's a good day to be a trucker. So from here on out, all truck drivers in the United States have to read and write and speak English. Man, I smell some raises coming on for every truck driver in America. The fact that they allow people to be truck drivers that can't read or write English is crazy, because all our road signs are in English. I can't tell you how many times I come across other truck drivers that can't speak English. There's no communication between us. It's honestly frustrating. It's awful. Back up where I'm from in Detroit, we get a lot of people from like the Middle East and Europe that come there. They don't speak any English. They disregard a lot of the rules. It's just gotten out of hand, and I'm glad that President Trump stepped in to fix this for us. Thanks, Trump.
America, brace yourselves for what's coming. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm a truck driver. We are in a recession right now. Banks have announced a recession, right? And unfortunately, us as truck drivers, we've been feeling this. Some will tell you a year, 2 years, 3 years, but the public has not realized this until now, right? Now, what's going to happen is it's like deja vu all over again. Warehouses are running out of product. They have only so much, and the rest is going to be relied on other countries. Unfortunately, due to the tariffs, we don't have anything to rely on right now, right? Amazon just announced they're laying off thousands of people across the country. For example, my son works at UPS part-time while he's in college. They cut his hours and many of their hours, right? Let's start. Whoever had a car note is going to get their car repossessed. The housing market, foreclosure is going to happen. Bankruptcy is going to happen. There's nothing wrong with bankruptcy. Starting all over. Donald Trump, our president, our commander-in-chief, has filed bankruptcy multiple times under corporation names, right? So that's normal. Fresh start. But we have to understand Donald Trump, I've always said this, right? On paper, looks good what he's trying to do. What I mean by that is, ladies and gentlemen, for it to look good on paper, in reality, we would have to reset back into the late 80s, early 90s. What does that mean when I say that? The way things cost the average American to live. We would have to go back to those days for manufacturing jobs to come back in our country and for people to be able to work in these manufacturers. Other than that, you would have to put robots in these warehouses for it to work. The average American wants a very good hourly pay, lucrative, wants 401k, wants health insurance. All that's going to come from the consumer. When the product is being made, all that has to come into consideration and break it down per unit, per cost. It's a little too late for that, right? That's just the way it is.
Oh my God, did you hear? The roads are about to be so much safer. Wait, are we finally fixing all of the crumbling bridges and potholes all over America? No, that's stupid. Why would we do that? Anyways, we're gonna make it so if you're gonna be a truck driver, you have to speak English. What does speaking have to do with driving a truck? Chunky Milk said this is a non-negotiable safety standard. It makes it so everybody who's driving a truck can read road signs, communicate with people, like at checkpoints and agriculture, and all the yada yada yada. A majority of traffic signs are symbols. They're just pictures or lights. And those pictures are pretty universal. But what if you're from Mexico and you go up to a crosswalk and there's a picture of a guy in the crosswalk, but he's not wearing a sombrero? Would you know that's a person? I'm not going to dignify that with an answer. Because I'm right. In order to operate a vehicle safely, you have to speak English. Traffic signs and roadway signs and highway signs and interstate signs were specifically made that way. So if you can't read the language, you can look at the picture and understand what's happening. So you just want the roads to be unsafe with people looking at pictures and not having long paragraphs of writings on signs? What kind of American are you? What's the real game here? Why are you doing this? For the safety of the roads. See, now we need to make it so people who make TikToks only speak English because you obviously don't understand what I'm saying. Or is it that you plan on taking away more jobs and careers from people based on the languages that they speak? If you start with the truckers and make it a precedent, then you can spread this to other places. Like, let's say, the grocery store, and you don't like the fact that the cashier speaks Spanish. Are you going to say that only English-speaking cashiers can be at the register?
Another worst week for the trucking industry. I'm actually sitting in Seattle, Washington right now without a load. I don't have no load right now. I dropped my load 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's already 1 o'clock that I'm sitting here waiting for the load. A lot of people been asking me, does it gonna get fixed? Is it gonna get better? I have no fucking clue what is gonna happen because day by day it's getting worse and worse. I have no clue. I haven't seen trucking industry like this in the past 10 years. This is the worst year for the trucking industry. Worst year. And when I came to the truck stop, I reserved a shower. There were 23 people in front of me in the line. 23 people. It's been 4 hours I'm waiting for the shower, and they still 3 people ahead of me. Still. So you can imagine that how many people are sitting at this truck stop without a load. All the truck drivers, we have nothing else to do besides taking shower all day. Pray for everybody. Stay safe on the road.
What are the consequences of the fact that there's no ships coming in to the biggest port on the West Coast, the port in LA? is reporting that there are no ships with shipping containers. The port is basically empty. And the same thing has happened in Seattle. And this happened pretty quickly, right? The tariffs came in and people are not ordering anything, and people who have ordered things have canceled their orders. And the implications for this are mainly for the American economy right now. China has lots of flexibility to be able to handle this. They can give grants to companies and things like that because they are running their economy very differently, and they also don't have the same sort of debt load that the Americans are facing. But the implications for this are just catastrophic for the U.S. I mean, the first one that we can see right away is for truckers. There are reports that the truckers, the level of demand right now is the same as for Thanksgiving, U.S. Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, which is the lowest of the year, and that is every day. So you're going to see truckers laid off, you're going to see port workers laid off, and the cascading effect obviously through that local economy will happen fairly quickly because those people are not going to have the money to be able to spend, and it's going to affect the real estate in those places as well. But think about the stores and the companies that need components to manufacture things. There's all sorts of things that are manufactured in the U.S. using components that come from overseas. And then people who need tools. Most of the tools are manufactured in the States, in China. You need those tools. You need them to be relatively inexpensive so you can run your business. And so the cascading effect of this will be, of course, a decline in the economy. And you probably see some readjustment in certain prices because there'll be very little competition for it. So, there's all of these cancellations of meat orders going to China, which is going to affect the price of beef and pork, and all of those things are going to drop for Americans. And that's wonderful for Americans, except it's going to put a lot of farmers out of business because they're already selling at very low margins to start with. So you'll see some economic decline, which will in some sectors lead to deflationary pressures, but for the most part, you're just going to see economy slipping into failure mode, and the worst recession ever, because it's not just some sort of over exuberance or something like that in some sector or another. It's actually just pulling the fundamentals out of the economy and throwing it into collapse. And this is just the start. I made a TikTok a few weeks ago saying, get prepared. In a couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing shortages of things on store shelves. And when there's no ships coming from China, you're going to see shortages of things on store shelves happening really quickly now because they rely on very tight schedules for things. It's really, computers are making the orders. When something is sold in a store, an order goes to the head office and it automatically goes to the supplier in China. And when they cut that off a few weeks back, when the tariffs were first imposed, that was the end of those replacement orders coming in for things that are on the store shelves. So things that you need that are like hard goods manufactured in China, and that's most of what you need. If you're in the US, you should be going and buying it now. Of course, in Canada, this isn't affecting us at all because we're not putting any weird tariffs on things coming from China. But when you see a harbor that has no ships and a busy port like LA and Seattle with nothing on the dock, I can tell you that's worse than anything we experienced in the pandemic, and it's completely self-inflicted.
All right, so this is for my drivers, right? I work LTL, right? So I pretty much pick up from a terminal and drop it off at another terminal. That's pretty much my job, right? Now, people that do that type of work, where you're bouncing from one terminal to another terminal, are your trailers super light? Has it kicked in yet? Are you guys noticing yet? Right? I've been working here for about a year and some change, and we never used to get dispatched with a trailer under 28,000 pounds. This week alone, I have not gotten a trailer over, we haven't been dispatched with a trailer over 22,000 pounds. I mean, am I tripping or what? Is it just me or what's going on?
LAYOFFS news right now. Donald Trump will be signing an executive order today that requires all commercial truck drivers in the United States to speak English, according to Breitbart and Caroline Levitt.
In other words, the trucking industry is in the process of completely collapsing because of the trade war. And, you know, they want to make sure the people that do get to keep their jobs speak English. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. You see, this regulation already exists. You're already supposed to speak English. They stopped enforcing it during the Shell Revolution because we needed truck drivers. And we couldn't find truck drivers. And lobbyists from the oil and gas industry went to Barack Obama and other people, I'm sure, in Congress and lobbied. And the decision was made to not enforce this rule. There are, Lord knows how many non-English speaking truck drivers in the oil and gas industry. I don't know how many there are. It's a lot. It's a lot. So this is definitely going to have a big impact on oil and gas. So what you're going to hear moving forward after today is a lot of people on the right saying, what's the big deal? It's already a regulation. But to me, it's not about whether it's already a regulation or not. It's about the reason why they're doing it. The trucking and transportation industry in the United States is about to collapse. And they want the drivers that get to keep their jobs to be English speaking. That is exactly what is happening. And I would also expect, you know, some sort of exemptions to be coming out soon as well, because there's a lot of different kinds of truck drivers. You know, there's interstate truck drivers, there's intrastate truck drivers, there's local drivers. There's a lot of different sort of classifications of drivers and what they do and what their requirements are. So if this actually, you know, goes into effect and is implemented, expect to see some more color around who specifically this has an impact on. Also, wait to see if something comes out about drivers in the oil and gas industry being exempted. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a strong possibility. I would ask Chris Wright how many non-English speaking truck drivers he has working for him at Liberty. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. I would also look for Governor Gavin Newsom in the state of California to come out and probably maybe file some type of suit or injunction to stop this, because there is a ton of non-English speaking truck drivers in the state of California. So, and this may actually be targeted a lot more towards California. Yeah, maybe. So I guess we will see what happens. I don't know. Thanks.